Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my brand new Green Lantern HBO video. They just made a bunch of big announcements. We know what's going on with the series, we know how many episodes they're doing, and we know which characters they're doing, which versions of Green Lantern. I will be doing episode videos for it when it premieres, so if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get everything. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway too. Let me know in the comments, what kind of big crossovers do you want them to do, and which other big characters do you want them to include? Because they connected everything during Crisis on Infinite Earths, I'll explain where the series fits between all the DCEU movies, the Justice League Snyder Cut, and all the Arrowverse stuff that they're doing. So I'll number these as we go along just to stay organized, but starting with the big stuff first. The Green Lanterns that they're starting with in Season 1 are Sinestro, Guy Gardner, Alan Scott, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Kilowog. On top of that core starting roster, they're also introducing quote-unquote new mystery lanterns that they haven't already revealed yet. For those of you holding out hope for Diggle, Green Lantern showing up on the series. I'll explain that in a second. The biggest thing that everyone noticed when they announced the roster of Green Lanterns last week for Season 1 is that there's no mention of Hal Jordan or John Stewart, which seems weird that they would do so many Green Lanterns in Season 1, but the most popular two wouldn't be part of that announcement. That doesn't mean that they won't appear on the show, it just means that they won't be main characters during Season 1. The main reason for that, as you probably guessed, is because of the Green Lantern Corps movie that they're still doing. There is a Green Lantern movie that they're still developing right now. Also, number 4, a lot of people are expecting to see some big Green Lantern Corps debuts in the Justice League Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder had big plans for introducing the new DCEU versions of the Green Lantern characters in the movies. They would have been a much bigger part of the Justice League sequel movies had they done Justice League 2 the way he had planned. Right now what's happening with that is that he's still doing his original Green Lantern stuff from the first Justice League movie as part of the Snyder Cut. We'll get to see that sometime around the spring or summer next year when they release those episodes on HBO Max. Zack Snyder has been teasing so much new Green Lantern stuff going into that movie that the thought is now, because they're spending an extra $70 to $80 million or so to finish the Snyder Cut, and there's no indication that Zack Snyder will get to make his version of Justice League 2, that he'll try to incorporate some of that lost potential Green Lantern sequel stuff into the Snyder Cut, just in some way. Remember the original plans for the Green Lantern Corps movie? That movie was originally supposed to come out earlier this year in 2020 before they postponed it and made all those behind-the-scenes changes with the way they make the movies. Originally, what would have happened is that Zack Snyder would have introduced DCEU Hal Jordan Green Lantern the same way he introduced Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, and then she went off to her own solo movie franchise. So during Justice League 2, Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns would have gotten a really big moment, everyone gets hyped up for DCEU Green Lantern stuff, then they go off to their new solo movie and start their own Green Lantern trilogy, leading up to another big Justice League crossover like Sinestro Corps War, Blackest Night, The War of Light, anything you could possibly imagine. Obviously, plans have changed since then, so they're not going to be doing stuff like that anytime soon. It would have just led to more big space-based crossovers the same way Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame became big Marvel crossovers between the Earth-based Avengers movies and the space-based Guardians of the Galaxy movies. The newer DC movie actors have been teasing more future crossovers with the Justice League characters. They're still doing a New Gods movie with Darkseid and the New Gods characters. So there's still a lot of big space-based crossover movies that they can do in the future, but a lot of that just depends on how the movies go the next couple of years. Number 3, they didn't quite explain how they're going to handle all the Green Lantern Corps timeline, because Alan Scott, as they named there, he's going to be a big part of the series, is the Golden Age Green Lantern. He's way older than the newest Green Lanterns like Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. It's a little more believable that people like Guy Gardner, Sinestro, Kilowog would be mentors to Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz early on. Alan Scott does appear in some crossover events with modern Justice League and Green Lantern heroes during Justice Society crossovers, but the way Warner Brothers and DC talked about the series last year, they made it sound like they're actually going to be jumping around in the timeline. So a lot of the Alan Scott Green Lantern stuff in the series might wind up being a combination of old man Alan Scott and then flashbacks to when he was a young, brand new Green Lantern, like showing him creating his special lantern battery from the Starheart. For those of you that actually keep up with a lot of the TV series, you'll remember that they also just introduced his Green Lantern battery on the Stargirl TV series, but it's cracked, he's either missing or dead, we don't know where he is in the context of that series and the Justice Society characters. The lantern just started glowing again, meaning it's getting ready to select a new wielder of Alan Scott's Green Lantern ring, but we don't know who that is yet. His lantern ring is a little bit different from Hal Jordan's and the other modern Green Lanterns. He forged it himself with instructions given to him by the Starheart. The other Green Lanterns are gifted their rings at the behest of the Owens in the Great Lantern Battery. Number 2, as you would all probably expect, Sinestro will eventually be the main villain, but because they're telling the story of the saga of the entire Green Lantern Corps history, he probably won't start out being the main villain. Maybe over the course of Season 1 or future seasons, we'll see his slow descent, becoming more and more hardcore until he takes the Yellow Lantern ring and forms the Sinestro Corps. If you've been keeping up with The Boys on Amazon, it parodies a lot of DC and Marvel comics like the Justice League and Avengers characters. We're seeing the slow descent of the main character Homelander, who's sort of an analog for Superman, like an evil version of Superman, becoming more and more hardcore. We could see a version of that for Sinestro on the series. I know there's a lot of Ryan Reynolds questions too. In terms of Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern references, Crisis on Infinite Earths, the multiverse connecting all the movies and TV shows, it's pretty clear from the Flash crossover scene with Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin that they want to say that yes, everything is connected through the multiverse. But that doesn't mean that you'll see all the characters crossing over all the time. It's just them saying yes, all these other versions are still valid, all these movies and TV shows, even though all the brand new movies will kind of be doing their own things with the characters. So when it comes to referencing the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, some of the same people that worked on that movie are working on the Green Lantern HBO series, so Ryan Reynolds himself probably will not cameo just because of the Uber Deadpool Marvel Cinematic Universe contract he's in the process of signing. Marvel's locking him down hardcore for a long time, but they probably will make a lot of references and jokes about that old Green Lantern movie. This is one of their opportunities with this new HBO series to fix a lot of the issues that everyone had with that. Even just a little while ago, Ryan Reynolds was posting more funny Green Lantern videos. He was promoting his new movie Free Guy with Taika Waititi, which is coming up next year. But I think a lot of people have forgotten that Taika Waititi also appeared in the original Green Lantern movie because he is an actor and a director. This is both of them making fun of that Green Lantern movie.
Didn't you guys do a movie together?
What?
Didn't you guys do a movie together?
Yeah, dude. I think. Heard you guys talking about that.
I don't think so. Not from my memory. No. This is the first time we've met.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, yeah.
Green Lantern.
Hey, you understand what we could learn from...
We can't stay here. What? Gotta go. What? Pilot. He wore a uniform. I think he was a soldier. Give me this. You proposed?
I don't think so. Maybe you're thinking of Jessica Tandy, Seth Rogen, Green Hornet.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's where you're getting confused.
He's amazing in that.
But neither of us are Seth Rogen.
No,
You did Green Lantern.
It was definitely Green Lantern.
Right?
He was also posting Justice League Snyder Cut memes a while ago, editing himself into the ending of the original theatrical cut of Justice League. So regardless of what they do with the new series or the new Green Lantern movies, just expect Ryan Reynolds to continue making fun of himself. But in terms of the newer stuff, the HBO Max show will be connected to the new Green Lantern Corps movie in some way. That also kind of explains what's going on with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and why they weren't named as part of that big announcement. They'll probably debut in the brand new movie first before we see them on the TV show, so they'll wait to cast them until they get ready to make the movie. And of course, number one, everybody's wondering, as for Diggle Green Lantern, during that Arrow series finale, he got his Green Lantern ring and said he was moving with his family to Metropolis. Metropolis is near Smallville, where the upcoming Superman TV show is going to take place next year, so it doesn't take a genius to guess that they'll eventually follow up with Diggle on the Superman show and some crossover cameos. But because they're doing all the newer, more obscure Green Lanterns on the HBO series and introducing quote-unquote new mystery Green Lanterns also on the show, the chances that Diggle shows up on that just shot up 1,000%. But that's something that they would probably keep pretty secret. The Arrowverse shows are only kind of connected to the HBO Max series that they're developing right now. Like they have a Justice League Dark series that they're working on. There's probably going to feature a new version of Constantine. There's also a separate version of a new Constantine show that they're developing for HBO Max too. That might wind up being a different actor from Matt Ryan. They haven't confirmed who they're going to cast as the new version of Constantine. But in terms of brand new Green Lantern movie stuff, I would love, as you would probably guess, for John David Washington to be the new Jon Stewart. I feel like that would actually be a really big slam dunk. But he himself actually did say that if he was going to go for a comic book movie, he was talking more about being the new Mr. Fantastic inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe in whatever their new Fantastic Four movie winds up being. So if you have any big questions or any big requests about what's going on with the new HBO Max DC series, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll just keep doing videos as we find out new information. Everyone click here for The Boys Season 3 teaser trailer, and click here for that Superman trailer for the new TV series. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.